As Benjamin Franklin once said, laziness travels so slowly that poverty soon overtakes it. Picture a heavy weight, growing heavier with each passing moment of inaction. This is the burden of constant laziness, a force that pulls us back, hindering our progress. It saps our energy, stifles our potential, and if we let it, can lead us into the clutches of poverty and despair. The antidote? Overcoming laziness. Now let's delve into an old Buddhist story that perfectly illustrates our topic. Once upon a time, in a small village in India, lived a lazy man named Bala. Now, Bala was not just your ordinary lazy fellow. He was the epitome of idleness, a symbol of sloth, and his life was a testament to the weight of inaction. Bala was so indolent that his days were spent under the shade of a large banyan tree, watching the world go by. His house was in a state of disrepair, his fields lay barren, and his life was devoid of purpose. Even the simplest tasks seemed like insurmountable mountains to Bala. Every morning, as the sun painted the sky with hues of orange and pink, the villagers would set about their daily tasks. The potter would be at his wheel, the blacksmith at his forge, and the farmer in his fields. But not Bala. He would be under his beloved tree, lost in the world of dreams. His laziness was not just affecting him, but also the people around him. His mother, old and frail, had to shoulder the burden of the household chores. His friends had stopped inviting him to play, for Bala had a knack for turning play into work. His neighbors would shake their heads in disapproval, but Bala remained oblivious to it all. The village was a bustling hub of activity, a symphony of life and work. But amidst this symphony, Bala was a dissonant note, an embodiment of inertia. His life was like a stagnant pond, untouched by the refreshing currents of activity and progress. But as the saying goes, change is the only constant. And change was about to knock on Bala's door. One day a Buddhist monk came to the village. He was a man of wisdom, a beacon of enlightenment. His serene eyes held the promise of a profound wisdom, and his words had the power to stir the soul. Little did Bala know, his encounter with this monk would be the catalyst for a transformation. Yes, Bala's life was about to change. The monk, wise and kind, noticed Bala's predicament. He saw the young man's potential buried under the weight of his laziness. His heart was filled with compassion, and he decided to intervene. The monk approached Bala, his voice a gentle whisper on the wind. "Bala," he began, "why do you let your days slip away like grains of sand in an hourglass?" Bala, surprised by the monk's question, shrugged his shoulders. "It's easier this way," he replied. "I don't have to worry about failing if I don't try at all." The monk sighed softly, a knowing smile on his face. "Bala, do you understand the consequences of your actions?" he asked. "Laziness is like a shadow that follows you, growing longer and darker with each passing day. It's a heavy burden that weighs you down, preventing you from reaching your true potential." Bala listened, his eyes wide with curiosity. He had never thought about his laziness in this way before. It was a part of him, as natural as breathing, but the monk's words stirred something within him. The monk continued, his voice steady and reassuring. "The consequences of laziness are not just physical, Bala. They seep into your mind, your spirit. They rob you of your dreams, your aspirations. They fill you with regret, with a sense of lost time that you can never reclaim." Bala's heart pounded in his chest. The monk's words echoed in his mind, like a pebble causing ripples in a calm pond. He realized the truth of the monk's words. He had allowed laziness to control him, to dictate the course of his life. "Bala, you have the power to change," the monk said, looking deep into Bala's eyes. "It's never too late to break free from the chains of laziness. You have potential, Bala. Don't let it go to waste." Bala, inspired and moved by the monk's words, decided to change his ways. He vowed to shake off the shadow of laziness, to live his life with purpose and determination. The monk's teachings had ignited a spark within him, a spark that promised to grow into a blazing fire. From that day forward, Bala worked hard to overcome his laziness. It wasn't an easy journey for him. The habit of laziness, deeply rooted in his mind, resisted change. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, but Bala was determined to turn his life around. He struggled, There were days when he wanted to give up, to return to his old ways. But he remembered the wise words of the old monk and the shame he felt when he was known as the laziest man in the village. He didn't want to be that man anymore. He wanted to be someone who contributed, who mattered. Bala began with small steps. He started waking up early, helping his neighbors with their work and contributing to the community. He faced setbacks, but he didn't let them deter him. He kept pushing forward, each day a little stronger, a little more resilient. The transformation was gradual. It didn't happen overnight. But people began to notice. They saw a change in Bala, in his attitude, in his actions. He was no longer the lazy man who couldn't be bothered to lift a finger. He was now a man who was eager to help, to contribute, to make a difference. And as Bala changed, so did his life. He found purpose, he found joy, he found respect. He was no longer a burden to the community, but rather an asset. He was no longer a man to be pitied, but rather a man to be admired. And it all started with a decision to change, a decision to overcome laziness, a decision to live a life of purpose and meaning. Bala's story is a testament to the power of change and the danger of constant laziness. It's a reminder that it's never too late to change, to break free from the chains of laziness, to live a life that you can be proud of. Bala's story teaches us that laziness, if unchecked, can lead to a life of unfulfilled potential. It's a cautionary tale, a mirror held up to our own lives, showing us the dangers of succumbing to a life of idleness. We see Bala, a figure with so much potential, paralyzed by his own inaction. But the story also gives us hope. It offers us practical wisdom on how we can overcome our own inertia. It tells us that the first step is recognizing our constant laziness. Acknowledge it, don't deny it. Secondly, we need to understand the root cause of our laziness. Is it fear? Is it a lack of motivation or purpose? Identifying the cause allows us to address it directly. Finally, take small steps towards action. Start with simple tasks and gradually take on more challenging ones. Build momentum. Remember, it's never too late to change, to step out of the shadow of laziness and embrace a life of action and fulfillment. It's important to remember that we all have the power to change, just like Bala. This tale from Buddhism has shown us laziness is not an unyielding burden. It's a challenge to overcome, a stepping stone to personal growth, and the rewards of pushing past it immense. So let's take inspiration from Bala and strive to live fully and mindfully each day. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you found this video enlightening. Please explore our other content for more insightful stories and lessons. Until next time, live fully and mindfully.